There was something on the other end of that pie, or my name's Aloysius. And it's not.
Just because Halloween is over doesn't mean the spooky times can't continue. Courage the Cowardly Dog premiered in 1999 on November 4th. Created and directed by John R. Doworth, this show blends comedy and horror in a mastery that I have never seen before. It provided a springboard that spiritual successors such as Gravity Falls, Amphibia, and The Owl House could emulate. This November, all month long, I'm going to go over every episode of the show, or at least as much as I can. This is my favorite animated series to date. Let's review Courage the Cowardly Dog. Courage Meets Bigfoot is a well-rounded episode. Written by Irvin S. Bauer, it shows that the show can have tension but also have fun at the same time. After hearing a bump in the night, Muriel thinks that a raccoon is terrorizing the Bag farmhouse.
Oh, it's just the raccoons.
That was no raccoon.
The Nowhere Newsman reports that Bigfoot is on the loose. Courage investigates to find that his suspicions are true. Bigfoot is indeed in nowhere.
Oh no!
After an elderly woman is looking for her lost boy, Bigfoot shows up in their kitchen. A fight/dance-off ensues where Courage and Bigfoot become fast friends. However, Eustace shows up with an angry mob demanding that Bigfoot come outside and Eustace get his reward.
And my lifetime membership!
Through the combined efforts of Muriel, Courage, and Bigfoot's mother, Eustace is chased off by the angry mob. Bigfoot is reunited with his mother, and we end the episode on a valuable lesson.
There's a little Bigfoot in us all, isn't there?
While this episode isn't a parody of anything in particular, Bigfoot is a popular myth that has existed throughout the generations. I'm not really going to go into what he is. He's a big ape man with large feet. Let's move on. I always fondly remember this episode, and I forgot how great it was. The story moves at a quick clip and the pacing is really great. It doesn't dwell on one moment for too long, but instead lets you bask in the good, bad, and funny feels. Bigfoot, while not in much of the episode, isn't really much of a character but more of a vehicle for the lesson. He is incredibly angry looking on the outside, but a real sweetheart on the inside. I love how he not only knows how to defend himself, but also knows how to have fun as well. He needs to learn to stay in his own yard when playing though. And please stop eating trash. You have a mother, go out to a restaurant or something. Bigfoot's mother, while not much of a character in the episode either, is a nice pathos vehicle for Bigfoot. While I do love these two new characters, it's a shame they're more of a plot device than actual characters. Bigfoot's mother is eventually regulated to a background character, and we see her a few more times in the series.
Theodore!
Bigfoot's mother is voiced by the late Lionel Wilson, the same voice actor for Eustace in the series.
You seen my little boy? Ain't seen no lost boy.
Courage is really great in this episode. He has a lot of agency and does a lot of things on his own. He doesn't need no computer, he's got himself. We get our first taste of Courage pulling things from behind his back, random things he has stuffed in his pockets, I guess. A pair of giant binoculars and a giant magnifying glass. That poor dog needs glasses. I also love the little imagined spot he has where he's thinking about Bigfoot crushing Muriel and then kicking her across a football field. It's alternatingly scary and really funny. Muriel plays the protector of the episode not only to Courage but also to Bigfoot himself. It's really sweet how she doesn't really see Bigfoot, instead sees a lost child that wants some pie. I also find it funny that Muriel doesn't really understand Bigfoot's name, but instead thinking it's about someone's foot or something that's big.
Get out of the way, Muriel! There's a Bigfoot in the house!
You'll get a big lump if you throw another rock.
I also love that she was more worried about the safety of her family from a rock getting thrown in her house than she was about the destruction of her kitchen. And also how she basically turned the crowd against Eustace at the end was amazing. And speaking of Eustace, this is the first time we've seen him in the show as the actual antagonist. Throughout the series, Eustace fills in the villain role, and he does it incredibly. He starts small by mocking Courage a little bit, being grumpy otherwise, being really interested in a reward, and then finally gathering an angry mob to catch Bigfoot.
Get that Bigfoot! I want my reward!
While we see him use an array of objects on the table to catch Bigfoot, we only see him use the iron torture collar. I'm not sure if he had those all on hand or if he bought them specifically for this, but either way, it's pretty messed up. His downfall and comeuppance in the episode is all the sweeter when the angry mob chases him away. And it's even better that Muriel does nothing to stop them. He truly deserves this.
This is special Nowhere News. There's a Bigfoot in these here parts.
Aside from appearing in the intro, we finally get to see the Nowhere Newsman appearing in the series proper. Yet again, voiced by Paul Scheffler, he did a great job with his accent. I never knew it was him. I really love his line delivery here. It entices the viewer and really draws them in, just like any newscaster would want to. He's a really great character in showing how media propaganda can influence people, especially enough to form an angry mob.
Contact us.
The angry mob, while not really a character, is a really great visual for the show. They're not really a person or people, they're just a malevolent force out to attack the house. They have their standard angry mob torches and pitchforks and other farm equipment, and I do like how they're all different sizes and shapes. And even though they are an angry mob, they turn into a good mob at the end to stop Eustace. The art direction is once again really great in this show, this episode mostly playing with light and dark. For example, Eustace's shirt changes from a tan in the light to an orange in the dark, and that's a really great detail. The different amounts and types of food shown during the food fight are really funny and great gags, but also really nicely modeled. I particularly like the elephant that is made out of fruit because it reminds me of an elephant my grandparents had. We also get more dining room. There's never enough dining room in this series. The music in this episode is also really great. Bigfoot gets his own really scary theme.
Oh, no, you don't!
And we also get a television theme with a scary movie being watched by Eustace and Muriel. We follow up Courage's plan in previous episodes with Courage's Search. It's a great little song played on some plucked strings. And while I don't think it's in the previous episodes, we do hear a good snippet of Eustace's theme here. It's a happy, jaunty tune on a fiddle that perfectly fits the farmer.
Now I'm ready to get me a Bigfoot.
We also get some epic orchestration during the food fight scene, and I'm not sure if it's original composition or something taken from another source. Either way, it's great. This food fight devolves into a song and dance number with fruit on heads and hips in a clear reference to Portuguese-Brazilian singer Carmen Miranda. No relation to the Season 2 Serpent, she's an entirely different thing. We also get a nice theme on piano and harp once Bigfoot and his mother reunite. And while heard briefly, we do get an All's Well That Ends Well song that usually wraps up the episode.
Times have I told you, you stay around the house. And you want to play?
Series composers Jody Gray and Andy Ezrin are doing a wonderful job so far. And as for the moral takeaway of the episode, don't judge a book by its cover. Just because someone looks like a monster doesn't mean they are a true monster. And just because someone looks like an old farmer doesn't mean they aren't a monster on the inside. There is also the lesson of not trusting media completely and doing your own research before doing something drastic. While I think Eustace may have learned this, I highly doubt it.
The reward is mine. No!
Courage Meets Bigfoot, while not the best episode in the series, is still a really great one. It has a wonderful take on American folklore as the myth of Bigfoot is drawn out, revealed, and expanded upon, all with the signature takeaway lesson of the episode. Eustace is the villain for the first time, and we do get some more Nowhere world building. Bigfoot, Bigfoot's mother, and the Nowhere Newsman are great additions to the series. The art direction is wonderful in this episode, looking great as always, and the music sounds amazing with some new themes here and there. And the moral takeaway in this episode will always be applicable. Courage Meets Bigfoot is a nice, lighthearted episode with a few scares here and there, and a moral at its core.
Next time you want to play, stay in our backyard.
I thought this episode was great, and I'd rate it awesome. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. The next episode, Hothead, written by David Stephen Cohen, is a masterpiece in visuals, script, and adulting rather than story.
Hold. We want you.
Eustace takes Courage along on a trip to the Experimental Institute. While Eustace is being tested, Courage discovers the Institute's true purpose. They've devised a serum with some horrible side effects. You can make things explode, but only when you're sufficiently angry. The rest of the episode is Eustace trying to deal with household chores and Courage trying to keep him calm.
Stay calm. Stay calm.
With each task he takes, Eustace blows up more and more of the house until the entire place explodes. Ending the episode with Eustace being entirely gone, Muriel being none the wiser, and Courage being at relative peace.
Courage, remind me to tell Eustace, whenever that man gets back, to fix this chair.
Hothead is a great sci-fi take on adulting. Adulting being all the menial tasks we do to get from day to day. A visit to the doctor, the barber, driving to and from, as well as doing chores around the house can all be frustrating tasks. It's very cathartic to watch all these meaningless tasks blow up, as it's shown that family is the most important thing. Courage is great in this episode, the way he figures out what the serum does.
Warning, when using, do not get angry, do not get mad, do not get upset, or else...
And how he tries to counteract it are highlights in the episode. I of course love that he saves Muriel at the end, it's really sweet. Muriel is oblivious as always in this episode. She only really cares about the squeak in her chair, and she can't really see what's going on around her. It just adds to the comedy here, it's great.
Oh, Courage, you got the mayor.
Eustace is at his worst and his most destructive through not really much fault of his own, but I think he eventually understands that he can make things explode. Someone as malicious as Eustace being given this power is a horrifying thought, and it's only by sheer luck that he destroyed his house and another vehicle. That vehicle being owned by Dai Lung, a recurring character in this series and one of my favorites. Voiced by Tim Chi Lee, he shows up for a brief moment here, but later gets an expanded role in the series. His catchphrase is also wonderful, and it's usually said when he's around.
Watch where you're going, you fool!
Also noting that he made an illegal maneuver on the road and got his comeuppance really quickly. This episode provides the introduction of Floyd, voiced by John R. Doworth, to be named in a future episode. This short, balding man is basically the sample character to show what would happen to the main characters in the series. Whenever you see him, just know that something horrible is going to happen to or because of him.
When did you lose your hair?
I was born
Was your father bald?
a little on the
Was your mother bald?
me mud.
We also get a brief mention of Eustace's parents. We'll cover them more later on in the series. The voice of the doctor, actor unknown, is evocative of those really long sheets of paper you have when you go to the doctor's office. All those questions that don't make sense, all those boxes you have to fill out, feel like the trials that Eustace goes through here.
What's 414 divided by 6?
What?
Nowhere is expanded somewhat further in this episode. Most of it takes place in the house, but we get to go outside for a little adventure. The Experimental Institute is a strange building, almost dystopian-like in nature. The entrance is flanked by trees of different colors, probably a different experiment involved there, as well as a small fountain with a large array of steps leading to a big red door. And the entire structure reaches past the clouds. What we see of the interior is mostly green and white tile with an array of lights going endlessly down the hallway. The benches are red to contrast the green and are only 2 seats instead of one long bench. It's almost like an airport instead of a doctor's office. The inside of the institute consists of blank white walls with strange black streaks, riveted metal backgrounds, as well as some stone marbling. The bathroom is a series of teal tiles with some patterned tiles on the floor, a wooden counter, and a strange-looking mirror, almost a window. The bathroom stalls look fairly common aside from the large gold adornments on top, and the paper towel dispenser is yellow to catch the eye. The road to and from the institute consists of a background of strange rock structures reminiscent of the Wile E. Coyote shorts and also the Grand Canyon. The road and ground are relatively normal. The art direction in this episode is really well done. I love how the Institute looks, as I previously stated, and how the Hothead serum works on people. The bulging eyes, the red faces, the veins, the drips of sweat reminiscent of the serum itself are all perfect. The explosion effects are really great in this episode, on screen and off. Jody Gray and Andy Ezrin did a great job with the music here. The Hothead theme is appropriately tense. I also love the addition of instruments as the episode goes on. Violins, vocals, different percussion, the works. It's great. The calm Muriel rocking chair theme is featured here and done really well. I'm not sure what instrument is used, but I love it. The loud, annoying rock music emanating from Dai Lung's car is a perfect example of what Dai Lung, an annoying, loud character, would listen to. Inside the Experimental Institute, a piped-in version of Beautiful Dreamer is playing, and that's really interesting, seeing as it's a public domain song even as far back as the 1960s.
That's me. You stay here, you stupid dog.
Something smells.
We'll be hearing a lot of classical and public domain music as this series goes on. I also appreciate the lack of music, especially during the Experimental Institute scenes. It really racks the tension up. If there's any lesson to be taken from this episode, it's don't sweat the small stuff. Don't let life get you so mad that you make things blow up. Metaphorically. Hothead is an underrated episode. The plot is a slow burn, racking the tension up. The characters are expanded upon, yet somewhat contained. The script is very well done between all the characters, especially Eustace and Muriel. The art direction embellishes the world and characters alike. And the music adds a few new themes and a couple ones that will return. While Hothead probably isn't on everyone's favorite episodes list, it is for me. The concept and execution are simply brilliant. And if my liking this episode makes you upset, just don't let it get you angry.
Something smells fishy, or my name's Schlinkenhofer. And it's not.
I really enjoyed this episode, and I'd rate it perfect. So that was 2 episodes of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Let me know which episode was your favorite in the comments. I'll see you next time with another pair of episodes. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching Jesse Hecht Creative. Feel free to click like, subscribe, share, or leave a comment. You can also visit us at jessehechtcreative.com, where you'll find more reviews like this one. Thanks again for watching and keep being creative. Stay tuned.